Okay, rough day, rough start to the day. What is going on? Let's backtrack. Last week, you saw my Cobra video where I showed all the species of cobras I keep, and in that I showed to you my little Chinese cobra, which I haven't showed you since I got it, and I got it in about February of this year, so had it for quite a few months before I showed it to you guys. And that footage that I filmed was actually mid-August, and what's it now? End of September-ish. This morning I come into my room, check on all the snakes, do the daily routine checks, make sure everything's okay, and not everything was okay. I opened the little Atras enclosure, and, well, I didn't have to open it, I saw through the glass something's a bit weird with the snake, and I go to further inspect and I find that the snake is lying upside down and dead. I don't know what happened. It's mind-blowing and heartbreaking because I really love that snake. It's hard to explain, like, I feel like I really had a bond with this little cobra because I had it from, it was only a few weeks old when I got it, and I kind of raised it up. Not that it was big or anything yet, but it was doing really well. And the thing is, I don't really know what happened. Its temperatures, its humidity, its setup, everything was perfect. It was eating, shedding, pooping, all of that stuff. So that's kind of strange, but I have gone over it with a few of my friends, and I'll get over those, or into those hypotheses. I'll get into the hypothesis of what we think is going on and why the snake died. So initially there were quite a few baby Chinese cobras available, and they went to a bunch of different people, and only 3 people were able to keep them alive. Myself, Eckhart, and this other dude. We were the only ones that got them feeding. There was something wrong with all the other little cobras. They died, they weren't eating, so it's only 3 left from like a clutch of, it was a fairly decent sized clutch. Cobras can have quite a few eggs, so we were the only ones who kept ours alive, and then that guy's also just randomly died. And we don't know why, because it was also eating, shedding, everything perfectly. And then this morning, mine did. And it's really strange because last night I checked up on him. He was cruising around his enclosure last night, all active. Nothing seemed to be wrong with this animal. He looked all right in the head, his body condition. He wasn't overfed, he wasn't underfed, he wasn't dehydrated. So we really don't know what happened. But keep in mind, there were a lot of snakes in the beginning, and only 3 of us were able to keep ours alive. So this kind of is going on to what we think might have happened. So what we think could have happened was a bacterial imbalance, as well as some issues that went along wrong during incubation. That's literally the only things we could come up with and think of that caused this animal to die, because it was eating, it wasn't sick, it was drinking, rehydrating itself. Although I must mention, it doesn't seem like the animal was like the smartest snake out there, because its humidity levels were perfect and it would still not shed properly, and that's generally an indication of a dehydrated animal. So I would constantly hydrate the animal and help it shed by soaking it all the time, so then it's in that water and will likely drink more frequently then. And it had its first perfect shed a few days ago, in fact, and today I rock up and it's dead. So that's super strange. So we think it's a bacterial imbalance, as well as something went wrong during incubation, and that's why the rest of the clutch mates also weren't super strong. So they weren't deformed on the outside, but maybe on the inside there's something wrong and something going on, because they never looked healthy from the get-go. Mine was starting to look better, but then, like you could see in the video last week, I'll put an overlay here, the snake was super cute, feisty, nice, an amazing animal to handle, and now he's dead. He doesn't look like a malnourished animal or sick animal. It's very strange. So I'm just wanting to go over this to kind of show you guys there is like this bad side of what happens, because when you keep animals, things can go wrong and animals can die, which really sucks, and it is something we never really get used to. So my heart's been broken today, but we got to keep going on. It doesn't seem like there was anything that I could have done differently to help the animal. which is, it sucks, and it doesn't, because it's not like a learning opportunity. Like now I can say, okay, I did this wrong, let's do this next time. I pretty much did everything that I know correctly, but the animal still died. So it seems like something happened prior to that. Sometimes you do just get weak animals, whether that be from incubation faults or pairing the animals up, and the male and the female that were the parents had some issues as well. We can't say. So the reality is things can happen, and we just got to, it's how we deal with it that makes the difference, and we've got to keep going and not neglect any of your animals. So I don't want to be one of those guys who's like, oh, here's a new snake, film it, whatever, and then it just disappears and you never hear from it again because it's probably dead. No, that's not what I'm about. I want to be open and transparent with that. So this animal did die, and I'm really devastated. It doesn't seem like it because I'm pretty good at hiding it, but today's been, you know, kind of a low day. It's not been nice, and I'm really upset because it's such a nice snake and I really loved it. It doesn't make sense. Like, yes, I know you love a cobra, Bryce, wow, that's so crazy, but I did, I really did. So yeah, I just got to learn from it, or try to learn from it, and that's the thing. Also speaking to a bunch of different people to try and find advice, what's going on, what do you think could have happened. If you have any thoughts, let me know, because we kind of want to get to the bottom of this. The animal doesn't have parasites, it was not overfed, not underfed, it had the right temperature, and its climate was perfect. So yes, this hasn't happened to me before, and hopefully it won't happen again, but it probably will, working with animals, especially when you work with so many. So it is a sad reality, and it's just something that we got to keep loving on your animals and keep working with them despite the difficult things, even though this is really tough. I mean, I don't know what could have gone differently, but I really wish the snake was still alive. So yeah, and it's bad now that I have that video out, and now I can't show you that little guy ever again. And I'm not wanting to show you dead photos of the snake either, because that's not cool.